This morning I was making myself a peanut butter and honey sandwich, which I do most mornings since it's the breakfast of champions. It'll make you big and strong for a growing boy like me. However, when I was putting the honey down after pouring it on the bread, I made a fatal miscalculation and I dropped the bread. I fumbled it. Everything went slow motion as I watched it hit the floor. I was upset, devastated. My heart was broken, day nearly ruined. However, it wasn't the saddest thing that's happened to me today. The saddest thing that's happened today is me watching this video about a woman who's cheated on her husband so many times that she's convinced him it's actually a good thing and healthy, and now they're swingers. Let me make it clear that I'm not the relationship police here. If they're happy, all power to them, but it doesn't make it any less goofy with the video they put out there about it. So let's go ahead and go over it.
This is Christina. She fell in love with Mark.
I don't know why the narrator hates Mark so much. They just reluctantly introduce him. They just let out a big sigh, a huge pause. Christina fell in love with Mark, I guess. I don't know what happened here. They were so enthusiastic to introduce Christina, but when they got to Mark, it was like a balloon deflating there. It was like a fucking funeral service. They were like, "Hey, Christina, wee, and then Mark."
Despite being in love with Mark, Christina also found she had eyes for other men.
I kept cheating so much and I just couldn't stop.
When I did find out, it was very devastating. I was heartbroken, to say the least, about it. I started thinking, oh, maybe I'm not good enough for her.
I just kept cheating and I couldn't stop. There was just a cock demon inside of me. I'd be walking down the street and I'd trip and fall onto more penis. It was an uncontrollable urge. It was like a car with a brick on the gas if that car was barreling towards more wieners. And then Mark's like, yeah, I got cheated on. It didn't feel great. It wasn't like an S-tier experience. I was heartbroken. Didn't feel amazing.
Rather than let the cheating break the pair up, they decided to explore new experiences as a couple.
I just said, let's try this swinging thing.
This is where it gets pretty manipulative in my eyes. So she's been cheating on him a lot. And now she's finally dumping the cold water on him, taking the training wheels off and saying, look, why don't we just try this whole swinging thing out so that way I can feel less guilty about cheating on you since now you can do it too. And it feels like Mark convinced himself it's a good idea because he can stay with her in this whole swinging thing. But it wasn't like a mutual decision between the two of them. She kind of led him to it because she was going to keep cheating regardless. So Mark just goes along with it, it feels like. I'm not a fucking relationship expert. I'm not a couples counselor.
So we've been together for 17 years, and we've been married for 15 years. Yeah, we are soulmates. We finish each other's sentences from day one. Yeah, so I've struggled with monogamy my whole life, ever since I was a little girl and had boyfriends in grade school. I would have multiple boyfriends at the same time. And then I cheated on him with 4 guys. I was always open and honest about it. And just monogamy is not natural for me.
Well, that's just dandy. Thank God. At least she's honest about it, because if she was cheating and lying, that'd be a disgusting combination. That'd be awful. You can't even be really mad at her at this point. Like, hey, Mark, I cheated on you again today with another dude. It's like, hey, at least you told me. So now I don't feel as bad. Thank you for that, Christina. You're such an angel. I also love the way that she presents this like it's something that's beyond her control, just like this almost illness that she's battling, this compulsion to cheat, whereas other people are struggling with drugs or alcohol or something. She just struggles with constantly cheating on Mark.
When I found out, it was very devastating for me because at that time, I could have been monogamous with her the rest of my life because I loved her like that.
It was hard for him to accept that that I was only in love with him and only wanted to be with him forever, but yet wanting other men. It took a little while for you to really comprehend that.
It was tough at first, but now I get it and I'm totally on board and I love it now.
I don't know what's so hard to understand. It's such a simple concept. She loves you, you're her soulmate, but she's also fucking other dudes. Hey, what? Don't be selfish, you can't share? Huh? What's wrong with you, pussy? You insecure? You're not gonna let other dudes fuck your wife? Okay, big guy. Again, this is another giant red flag to me about manipulation because it feels like he knows it's wrong. It's hard to wrap your head around it, Mark, because it's fucking wrong. But she is convincing him that she loves him so much, but just can't help but find other men too. Now, I want to make it clear, I understand there's a lot of relationships where they also have other partners outside of the two of them. They're not monogamous. And that's fine if the couples like mutually arrived at that. In this case, from everything I've seen in the video, it seems like Christina pushed Mark to be okay with it, as opposed to something that they both were on the same page about. I also love the way at the end he says, "I get it now, I'm totally on board, I love it now." It sounds like he's being held hostage. That was like an actual, like, fucking prisoner of war there. Christina seems like she must have had like a gun on her lap pointing at him like, "Hey, fucking say the line, please. This is a YouTube video. We need to look good here. Say it. Say it. Say you love it."
For me, it was just, I just desired to be with other men. And then I would feel super guilty about it. And I had done it with every relationship. I try to be monogamous. I am not the happiest person in the world. I'm kind of like bitchy, so.
You are very bitchy, yeah.
I know. He sees such a difference now that I'm not monogamous. Like, he sees, like, I'm just so much happier.
2020, right?
Yeah, you wish you would have done this years ago, right?
Right.
Jesus Christ, it's like a commercial for a Snickers bar. You're not you when you're not cheating on your husband. Honey, you're acting so crazy today, honey. Why are you being such a bitch? You know what? I'm gonna call up my friend to come fuck you to calm you down a little bit. Or better yet, why not just go to the local hockey team and let them spit roast you in the locker room? And that way you can come home a little bit more mellow, okay? You're acting nuts, and I'm gonna need you to go have some sex with some other dudes so that way we can have a more healthy relationship. It's so, like, weird the way he just goes along with it. She's like, "Oh, I bet you wish you had done this years ago, right?" "Yeah." "Oh, it's so much better now." Even though, like, his face kind of says the whole story, it doesn't seem like he's really happy about it, honestly. But again, I'm not the expert here. Maybe he does love it. I couldn't tell you. But either way, it doesn't seem like he was the one that arrived to this decision naturally. It was something that was kind of forced upon him if he wanted to stay with Christina, whom he seems to really love.
Our family and friends, they basically all found out that we were swingers through TikTok. Never once has one of our friends of 26 years said, "I saw that you guys were swingers and I accept you for it." They all want to follow my TikTok, but yet you've been my best friend for 26 years. You've ghosted me.
Who gives a fuck? It's not your friend's responsibility to sign off on your relationship decisions. You shouldn't be looking or demanding them give you a green light or a thumbs up, a pat on the ass like, "Hey, good game. When's my turn with your wife, Mark?" Like, they don't have that responsibility to you. Sure, they can give advice or input or whatever, but to be mad at them for not signing off on it is super weird. And to be, like, angry at them for not, like, going out of their way to be like, "Oh, we totally accept this." They don't care that much, I imagine. If my best friend came up to me and was like, "Charlie, I'm a swinger and a cuck. In fact, I'm just a cuck. I'm not a swinger. I don't get any action on the side. I just let my wife fuck other dudes." I'd be like, "All right, bro. I mean, that's fine. So when are we playing Elden Ring?" I also do appreciate that apparently the news broke to all their friends and family through TikTok. That sounds about right. TikTok is such a wild and wacky space.
It's ridiculous how, like, nervous I get about going TikTok live. 27,000 of my followers are on right now, which is pretty good for 10:30 a.m. Hello, TikTok live. How are my people doing? Mark, answer if he gets jealous or not.
At the time that I got jealous, she actually had a side piece, and mine
Two of
was
them.
kind of like ghosting me and acting a little crazy, and so I just cut it off with her. So I had no side piece, but she did, and it kind of made me a little bit jealous.
Why even jump in there and interject? No, actually, Mark, you stupid fucking idiot. You goddamn Neanderthal. I had two side pieces. It's like, why even throw that in there? So they go on TikTok Live, which is another fucking weird space. TikTok Lives are a lawless wasteland. So they're on TikTok Live answering frequently asked questions. The question they're answering here was about, do you guys get jealous? She's like, "Nah, I don't get jealous. Why the fuck would I?" Mark's like, "Well, actually, I did kind of get jealous one time." She's like, No, I was two dudes, and it was silly for you to get jealous, you goofball." So the whole thing is just a little odd.
Swinging has changed our lives for the best. I mean, not only are we happier, we're healthier, mentally, physically. We don't allow toxicity in our life. Right. We only allow positivity in our life.
We're active all the time.
We're active. It's made us just more attracted to each other. It's made our love deeper.
Yeah, if you say so, Christina. At the end of the day, if they're both happy, good for them. But it really does feel like Christina got the better end of this bargain. She got to have her cake and eat it too. She never compromised. She never learned how to just love Mark and only Mark, even though he himself was committed entirely to just Christina. He was the one that had to compromise in a big way to convince himself that the swinging lifestyle is great. And even during that, he mentions like some jealousy And it's just, it doesn't feel like it was something that they arrived to together. It feels like something that was forced upon the poor guy. But again, I'm not the expert. Maybe they're happy, super into it, good for them, whatever. Still a very silly video that I wanted to talk about. And that's about it. See ya.